Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you feel that biochemistry is difficult, enzymes are confusing and names are overwhelming, then this video is for you. I am here to simplify the concepts of biochemistry for you all. Hey guys, so let's get into it. The basics of biochemistry part 1. So we have three important things in biochemistry with respect to cycles. Number 1, we have glycolysis or EMP pathway, which is the Embden-Meyerhof pathway. Next up, we have Krebs cycle, which is the citric acid cycle. And we have another important concept, which is gluconeogenesis. Now, what is this gluconeogenesis? It is the formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. So, let's first break down the three confusing but important terms in biochemistry. Number 1, we have glycogenesis. Number 2, we have glycogenolysis. And number 3, we have gluconeogenesis. So, always remember that the word genesis stands for formation and lysis stands for breakdown. So what is glycogenesis? It is nothing but the formation of glycogen. What is glycogenolysis? It is the breakdown of glycogen to form glucose. And what is gluconeogenesis? It is the formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. Okay. So now you will ask me, ma'am, what is glycolysis, what is Krebs cycle and what is gluconeogenesis? Okay. So glycolysis is the conversion of glucose to 7-ATP, conversion of glucose to pyruvate or to lactate. In aerobic cycle, the end product is pyruvate, and in anaerobic cycle, the end product is lactate. This occurs in the cytoplasm with the formation of 7-ATP. Okay. After glycolysis is over, this pyruvate will immediately form acetyl-CoA with energy production of 5-ATP. And that, my friend, is the beginning of Krebs cycle. Now what this acetyl-CoA will do, it is going to transform OAA into citrate, and this process takes place in mitochondria with the formation of 20 ATP. This makes a total of 32 ATP glycolysis followed by Krebs cycle. Let's take it from the top once again. What is glycolysis? Conversion of glucose to pyruvate or lactate in the cytoplasm with formation of 7-ATP. Krebs cycle is what? This pyruvate fellow will convert into acetyl-CoA with 5-ATP formation. In the mitochondria, this acetyl-CoA will convert OAA into citrate. Okay, so if you are listening to this for the first time, you might feel a little overwhelmed listening to the names of various products and enzymes and energy molecules. But if you learn it slowly and repetitively, it is going to become better and you will understand better and you will be able to learn it in a jiffy. Next up, what is gluconeogenesis? Gluconeogenesis is the exact opposite of glycolysis. It is the conversion of pyruvate to glucose. Now, for calculation purposes, old and new. So, in the older calculation, we had 1 NADH giving rise to 3 ATP, 1 FADH giving rise to 2 ATP. Now, in the new calculation, 1 NADH is 2.5 ATP and 1 FADH is 1.5 ATP. Now you will ask me, what is substrate level phosphorylation? Substrate level phosphorylation is the direct ATP generation without NADH or FADH. It is the energy produced without entering the electron transport chain. Okay, so let's start with glycolysis. So everything that is in blue, those are the products in the journey of transformation of glucose into pyruvate when an aerobic end product is formed, and lactate if it is anaerobic. Okay, so now see, if we try to do everything at once, it might feel slightly difficult or tricky. So what we want to do is that we will first focus on the products which are given in blue, then the enzymes which are written in black, and then we will talk about energy which is produced or released, as the case may be, which is present in red. Okay, so let's start. So first, glucose will transform into glucose 6-phosphate, which will change into fructose 6-phosphate. Fructose 6-phosphate will change into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which will give off two products, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and DHAP. Okay, this is a reversible process. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will give rise to 1,3-BPG, which is bisphosphoglycerate. 1,3-BPG will give rise to 3-PG. 3-PG will give rise to 2-PG. 2-PG will give rise to phosphoenol pyruvate, and phosphoenol pyruvate will give rise to pyruvate. So let's take it from the top once again. In the cytoplasm, glucose, the journey of glucose to pyruvate is with the following steps. Glucose turns into glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-biphosphate, two products, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and DHAP. Okay, now glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will give rise to 1,3-BPG, 3-PG, 2-PG, phosphoenol pyruvate and pyruvate. Simple, right? If you go through this 3-4 times, then you will become better with it. Okay, so now let's talk about enzymes. When glucose turns into glucose 6-phosphate, it is with the help of hexokinase and glucokinase. When glucose 6-phosphate changes to fructose 6-phosphate, it is with PHI, phosphohexoisomerase, right? When fructose 6-phosphate turns into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, it is with the help of PFK. So what are the first three enzymes? Gluco-K, which is glucokinase, PHI and PFK. Okay, glucokinase, PHI, PFK. Now, when fructose 1,6-bisphosphate converts into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and DHAP, the enzyme is aldolase. When DHAP converts to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, the enzyme is PTI, which is phosphotriose isomerase. When glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate turns to 1,3-BPG, enzyme is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Okay, when 1,3-BPG turns into 3-PG, enzyme is PGK, phosphoglycerate kinase, which is a substrate level phosphorylation. After PGK, we have PGM, which is phosphoglyceromutase. Then we have enolase, which is inhibited by fluoride. And then we have pyruvate kinase, okay, which is again a substrate level phosphorylation. Now, in the first and the third step, 1 ATP is eliminated, okay. In the When there is dehydrogenase, it means energy is produced. So, okay. So 5 ATP when two molecules of NADH are produced from glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to 1,3-BPG. Okay. In the two substrate level phosphorylations which are taking place, 1,3-BPG to 3-PG, 2 ATP is generated. Phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate with pyruvate kinase, 2 ATP is generated. The first, third and the last step are irreversible. Now let's do a quick recapitulation. What is the end product of glycolysis? Aerobic end product is pyruvate and anaerobic is lactate. Where does this occur? In the cytoplasm. Maximum energy is produced in which step and how much? 5 ATP is produced when glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate changes into 1,3-BPG with the enzyme glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Substrate level phosphorylations in which step? The last step, and 1,3-BPG converting to 3-PG with the help of phosphoglycerokinase and phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate with pyruvate kinase. The last step and this step are substrate level phosphorylations. So, three steps in which ATP are produced: glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, PGK and PK. Okay. Steps in which ATP is used up: hexokinase, glucokinase and PFK. PGM is in which step? 3-PG to 2-PG. And which are the irreversible steps? First, third and last step are the irreversible steps. So that is everything about glycolysis. If you are listening to this for the first time, it might sound a little confusing, but I would suggest that visit this video every week to become the master of glycolysis. Okay, next up we have citric acid cycle, also known as Hans-Krebs cycle. So what happens in the mitochondria is, as soon as pyruvate is formed, it converts into acetyl-CoA. 5 ATP is generated with 2 NADH molecules and PDH multi-enzyme complex. This is known as oxidative decarboxylation. This PDH requires 5 cofactors: NAD, FAD, CoA, TPP and lipoic acid. TPP is nothing but thiamine pyrophosphate, which is our vitamin B1, which is usually reduced in alcoholics. Okay. So now let's first learn the steps of citric acid cycle. From pyruvate, we have acetyl-CoA, oxidative decarboxylation with PDH. OAA gets converted to citrate. Citrate gets converted to cis-aconitate. Cis-aconitate gets converted to isocitrate, oxalosuccinate, alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, succinate, fumarate, malate, and again oxaloacetate. Let's just learn the products first. OAA, citrate. Cis-aconitate, isocitrate. Now there is a trick to this. Citrate, Ci. So the next product is cis-aconitate. Now IS, next product is isocitrate. Now O, so the next product is oxalosuccinate. Alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, succinate, fumarate and malate. Okay. So next step is knowing the enzymes which I have mentioned in black. Okay. OAA to citrate, enzyme is citrate synthase. Citrate to cis-aconitate, enzyme is aconitase. Cis-aconitate to isocitrate, again the same enzyme, aconitase. Isocitrate to oxalosuccinate, enzyme is isocitrate dehydrogenase. 5 ATP is formed with 2 molecules of NADH. Oxalosuccinate isocitrate dehydrogenase again gives rise to alpha ketoglutarate. Alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl CoA. Enzyme is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. 2 NADH molecules form 5 ATP. Next up we have ST and SD. ST is succinate thiokinase when succinyl CoA to succinate. SD is succinate dehydrogenase when succinate to fumarate. Okay. First one is ST is substrate level phosphorylation with 2 ATP. Succinate to fumarate with FAD forms 2 molecules form 3 ATP. Fumarate to malate with fumarase. Malate to OAA with malate dehydrogenase. So the trick to remembering the names of enzyme is that it is relative to the predecessor, which is the previous step. So if isocitrate to oxalosuccinate, enzyme will be isocitrate dehydrogenase, right? If it is alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl CoA, then the enzyme is going to be relative to alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, right? So that's how it works. If we are going from fumarate to malate, then enzyme is fumarase. If we are going from malate, then enzyme is malate dehydrogenase, right? Now, there is a simple way to remember the energy produced in Krebs cycle, okay? So the mnemonic is alpha mis is a silent teacher, okay? So alpha is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, M is MDH, I is isocitrate, and S is SD, and ST is succinate thiokinase. Energy produced is 55532. Okay. You can relate it in this chart. And so yeah, the total energy produced so far is glycolysis 7 ATP, oxidative decarboxylation 5 ATP, and Krebs cycle 20 ATP, which sums up to a total of 32 ATP. On the list, we have with us gluconeogenesis. So, from mitochondria, it is the journey of pyruvate to glucose, exact opposite of glycolysis. Okay. So, pyruvate cannot directly convert to PEP, and which is why there is a series of steps which is happening. Pyruvate will change into OAA via pyruvate carboxylase. OAA cannot directly cross the barrier and go to cytoplasm. So it will first convert into malate with the help of MDH. Once malate can go to cytoplasm, and again it will change to OAA. OAA is going to give rise to PEP, which is nothing but phosphoenol pyruvate. So two main enzymes are, one is pyruvate carboxylase, pyruvate to OAA, and other is OAA to PEP, PEP-CK, which is phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. Now, phosphoenol pyruvate will give rise to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, okay, which will change to fructose 6-phosphate with the enzyme fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase. Now, fructose 6-phosphate will give rise to glucose 6-phosphate, which will in turn give rise to glucose 6-phosphatase. So, four enzymes are pyruvate carboxylase, PEP-CK, fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, and glucose 6-phosphatase. For more such meaningful content, like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let me know which all topics you want me to break down, and I will help you revise them and learn them easy way. So yeah, that's all from my side. This was everything about glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and gluconeogenesis that you need to know as a student. I'm sure if you learn this much, you are going to do very well in your long answers, short answers, in your Viva, and in all of your MCQ examinations. If you like my content, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the content as it inspires me to create more such content. Share it with all your friends and colleagues, and comment down below what all things do you want me to make videos about to simplify the concepts for you all. Bye.